for me, my generation, and I would argue for any generation, Michael Jordan was the best at what he did. And there's just a mystique to him. If you are the Michael Jordan of anything, people know what you're talking about. To me, he's the greatest of all time of any sport. And then what he was able to do in this area as well, culturally, for just what it looks like when you're out there playing a pickup basketball game. Everybody's got their Air Jordan gear, and it's I think if you ask them, they all feels that it probably makes them a better player, which is kind of cool. You got a little piece of him on you. The thing that I loved about this plot, this information, is that, obviously the Air Jordan brand, the Nike brand itself, it's so enormous today. What you learn in this film is how small this deal with Michael Jordan started as. I mean, they had $250,000 to spend between three different rookies. And the movie starts trying to figure out which three players they're going to split this 250 with, divide it up into threes. And Sonny's big, mind-blowing, super controversial idea was to give it all to one guy, this guy Michael Jordan, who wasn't even, number one in anyone's mind at the time. So it's just stunning to me that it started that small and that it was such a big risk to give all $250,000 to Michael Jordan. And so, it starts from there, and then obviously where it gets to by the end of the film, and the carve out for him to be a participant in profits going forward was just a huge decision at the time. Little did they know. A lot of my scenes were with Matt Damon, and Matt and I are kind of buddies off screen, and we'd never worked together. And so when we were working, Ben yells action, and you look up and you're acting with your buddy, like kind of in the middle of the scene. Always, I would then realize, oh, wait a second, that's Matt Damon right across from me, looking in my eyes. We're acting right now, and it was really exciting for me as a movie fan to be working with Matt Damon for the first time. But then immediately you think, oh no, that's my buddy. Like, we're texting, we hang out, and so there's that going back, which is not uncommon. Fortunately, I get to work with a lot of my friends, and so you got to try to stay focused and not get too starstruck. But it is somewhat distracting because you end up watching him do his thing, which is incredible. He's an effortless actor. You don't see him doing a lot of acting. He's just in it, and he's natural, and it doesn't seem like anything's written, and all of his movements and behavior are all just smooth, and it takes no effort to watch him. You forget you're watching a movie, and certainly forget you're acting in a scene when you're with him. So he makes you a lot better, and he makes you really comfortable. And he's just such a good guy. So I loved it. I wish I was in every scene with him in the film. The character that I play, Rob, I believe he is Matt Damon's character's boss. And so there's a power dynamic there. And Matt's character, Sonny, wants to kind of, do something a little risky, which is give all the money to Michael Jordan instead of splitting it up between three. And my character's saying, no. You stay in your lane, be disciplined, and then ultimately, obviously, Matt's character goes rogue, and he goes over my head, goes over the big boss's head, Phil Knight's, and so there's this fun sort of tension between my character and his, and then ultimately there's the realization that oh, Sonny really did the smart thing. He did the right thing. And my character, you see, he's sort of proud of him and kind of happy for him. And you can kind of see the friendship there being more important than the established power dynamics there. And that he's kind of ends up rooting for his subordinate in his rogue effort, and he sees that it's probably going to yield some fruit. And so that's kind of a nice, pleasant, kind of happy ending to their tense relationship, because they argue a little bit in the film. Ben Affleck is just an incredible director, and he so clearly loves doing that job. I mean, he really enjoys acting as well, and he's incredible at that. But there are certain directors where you can tell they really understand what that position can and should be as far as leadership potential, the privilege of leading, the privilege of having a plan and unapologetically executing that, leading that, providing encouragement and momentum for the crew that is obligated to follow you. So you should have a good plan, and he does, and he knows what he wants, and he's got a very fun and pleasant way in which to communicate that to everybody. And that plan happens to be a really good one, and it's super tasteful, and it's super entertaining, and always a great combination between movie and film. He's just been on a ton of sets for a long, long time and has clearly absorbed everything. The wardrobe was fun to wear. It's not flattering. No one's going to be pleased with my silhouette in this film. Baggy pants, baggy shirt, big fat face and fat hair. The definition of glamour back then was different than it is today, and so no one wanted to exercise any real vanity in this movie. It was sort of the beauty of that day could be deemed ugly today, and that was kind of fun. To everyone is on the same page and wearing these ugly suits and shirts and silly hair. I love the movie. It doesn't have this isn't a Marvel or DC movie. We don't have effects and explosions and jokes and stunts and big action sequence. This is a story about a business deal, and so I wasn't prepared for it to be as engaging and compelling. It's hard to keep someone's attention when all you're talking about is a business deal, but Ben did it, and Matt did it with his performance, the direction, the script, the pacing of the editing, the music that's throughout it. Like, it's really fun, and it's super fast. And it is a story about an event that everybody knows about, but they don't know the details of it. So you find yourself constantly going, wow, that's how that happened, and that's what that discussion was, and that's how cavalier they were about something that has ended up being an incredibly big thing in our global culture.